All right, people. My name is Rick, and we're just continuing with the Wordle game. We're very close to finishing this. I know I've been saying that for the last 5 episodes, but at the same time, I still keep coming up with things that we need to do and things that would make the program cool. I hope that people who are looking at this get a chance to download this and try to compile it on your Mac using this project, and I hope that the library that I brought in, the Swift curses term, is workable. Today I'm gonna focus on this section of the code here and talk about what it's doing. But before I do, yesterday I was trying to show where curses.h lives. So we have here the Swift curses term, and this if I click on it is the source code. Now there is it doesn't have the error anymore, but it says the build succeed. It's very strange, but if I do control, see, now I get the error again, but if I do control and jump to definition, it jumps to, oh, that's confusing. It jumps to that, the module, which is this thing. Curses.h. I wonder if it has to do with this error. No, yeah. The error's not there, so I'm going to click on it. Nope. Okay, so already I'm experiencing something strange, but if I go to this first mockup, darwin.curses, and I go to its definition. Oh wait, I know now. If I go back to here and go to something like curses set locale. I do curses set locale. Yeah, you can see it's going to this place here, locale.h, and this is close to what I was trying to show. I go back and go to this function, getStir, which that's the programming I'm going to do tonight, is just modify this a little bit. If I jump to the definition, you can see that it's taking me to this place here, curses.h, and this is the C-based header file, and these are C types, char and short and void. So this is a header file, and yesterday I wanted to show where this was on the disk. So here it was, I think in this window, and it turned out that the location is here. Application Xcode 321 app contents developer. In order for me to get any of this working on the command line, I needed to specify this environment variable, the developer dir, and I gotta remember where it is that I saw this. Let me go to my notes. I would think I would have written it down. Yeah. So back in February, and developer. Yeah. XC run, maybe it was this post. Let me see if this is the post that mentions developer dir. But I'm going to show you something in Xcode in a quick second, but I want to just go down this little rabbit hole. Yeah. It's not here. So clear. So sometime in February, I was prompted to go here to find some information, and at some point, wow, I didn't say when I picked this up. Oh, here it is. Xcode-select, and if I put that into here, Xcode-select. Oh. This Xcode-select -p will print out the active developer directory, and this is, I'm sure, yeah, it's the equivalent of developer dir. And to set the path without super user permissions or only for the current shell, you can use this. But I must have done Xcode-select, but I think prior to that, in order to use the tools, I decided I wanted to set this manually. Right. So that was that, and I'll make sure to put this into our chat here. I don't know what it was in there I was looking for. I'm sure I was just trying to run the tests locally, the programs locally, but what I'm going to show though is, even though I have developer dir set, what I'm going to point out is I couldn't find this path here. I knew about this, but then it turns out if you click on this, you get these selectors so that you can navigate this tree. And then, even better, is if you hover, if you go to the file, you can click on it, or right click on it. Yeah, you can right click on the file, and you can then see the full path to it. And this full path is Contents Developer macOS plus macOS X SDK user include curses.h, which it's a little painful to get here in terms of like the path, but I just did Apple C to copy it, and let me see if that takes me there. Go Apple V. Nope, it's that old one. So in the end, I must have just eyeballed it and put in this path, and lo and behold, I'm able to see the curses file. And this is the curses file. Like if I look at 1998, 2007, if I look at this file here and go all the way to the top, 1998, 2007, and so on and so forth. So version patch 2008 1102, and if I do that here, yeah, 2008-11-02. So it's just a small thing. I wanted to point out that everything is on the disk someplace, but I wanted to find it for myself. So what I'm going to do is think about this prompt business. If I go to the Mach 2, you notice that when I enter things here, this is, first of all, it doesn't respect the 5 character limit, but also the guess is a full string. You have to type in the whole string, rusty, and then press enter before it puts it into the next line and so on. When the code is waiting for a whole string, I need to do some coding to account for that. And that code is this. Now all of the types are pretty much types that are for Swift, but here I need to end up doing something with this. I need to end up doing this kind of bizarre declaration, and then you notice here I have to do this ampersand. When I use getString and I control click on it and I jump to its definition, it wants a char star, which is essentially it wants a pointer to a string, which in C means it wants the address of the string. In order to get the address, I need to use an ampersand. Now, and how did it guide me? I did this extra, and I did control space, and maybe it was escape. Yeah. Now I'm trying to remember how it got me here. I think I did raw string first. And let's see, it's going to complain because that's not the right type. I'm going to, in fact, save this. Oh yeah, this is my, oh, right, this is my problem. So it doesn't build this file anymore for me. So I'm going to go back to the command line and print it. So we should get an error on line 65, even though Xcode is not telling me anything. I was trying to fix that before here. You could see it gives me this error, can't convert type of array of character, which is what this is, also known as an array of integer 8s, to the expected argument type of UnsafeMutablePointer. And when I looked up UnsafeMutablePointer, I ended up here. And I'm going to put this in our chat also as a reminder to me to put this into the notes. But this whole business of the UnsafeMutablePointer led me to see that a way that I could generate this type was to use the ampersand. Now, I'm also not seeing this, so this maybe it was this one. Yeah. Yeah, in this section, management. I'm also going to put this in here. You may use instances of this type to access data at of a specific type in memory, and all of this rings quite familiar for me, having programmed in C. I'm sure if you did not program in C, this might be super strange, but this section, this document, talks about how to get at this information, how to get at the memory location, and you could see here, right here, bytes. Here also UnsafeMutablePointer, and a key business. Yeah, here raw pointer. So I didn't need to use an ampersand, but I think at some point in this document it does talk about getting that unsafe mutable pointer by virtue of using the ampersand. So that was a bizarre note, but the other point I wanted to make is that Swift curses term, which again I'm going to continue using this, and in the previous session I found that small bug with the move. Yeah, this part here where I had to manually put in the nil. Swift curses term does not offer any input capabilities. This get string and later on down here, this get char, these are all functions that are just courtesy of NCURSES from Swift curses term. So when we're in Swift curses term, it imports curses, and I believe that's how we're able to get at these functions. So if I put in getch, you can see it's not part of Swift, but yet it allows me to get it. And when you do the definition, when you say, I mean, first, I don't believe there's quick help. But when you jump to the definition, you see that it's going right to the C header file. So again, I don't claim to understand all of what I'm seeing. So I will, which I understand his real name is Derek R. From the commit messages. But this is something, if you read through this, it may make more sense how you can get this capability. But again, I don't know if this was always there, because if you go to the original mock-up that I did, where I directly used the NCURSES from Darwin, these functions, getStir, here I am doing getStir, this thing goes to a Darwin capable, Swift compatible NCURSES capability. And I actually think, let me just quickly check it on here. Yeah. NCURSES DLL. No, this isn't anything helpful, but here you can see this unmutable safe pointer. It's going to return an integer 32. And this is in fact what this first version was telling us it needed. In the compiler error, it's saying, hey, I want an unsafe mutable pointer here. You're just passing me this character array. That unsafe mutable pointer is not from curses.h, it's from darwin.curses. And if I click on this, there's no path, there's no anything for me to link to. And this is the runtime, and rderik talks about it here. I don't know if he uses the word runtime, but I mean the Darwin, but if I do runtime, yeah, it's a whole specific thing. Many runtimes can exist. If you were on the Mac, yeah, you're on the Mac O runtime. So these are all interesting details, and this blog post is again super helpful. Probably the third time I've mentioned this blog post. Again, very helpful to at least reason about this when you get this kind of a strange error. Now, yeah, so what I'm going to do is add a little bit more error control here, and then at some point, these are just mockups, these folders. At some point, we're going to take wordle-cli and this is going to be some quiet programming going on, because right now this game can be played entirely in this code here, not even 100 lines, but it's only on the command line. It doesn't use the curses interface. How can I combine this code? Yeah, we don't need this one. Oh no, we did need that one. How can I combine this code, which is the legitimate game, with the NCURSES version? In other words, can you start a game and say, hey, I'm going to run it in curses, or can you do something like do some detection that if curses is available? Those are some things to try to maybe program. I'm comfortable with coming in here and saying, like, there are all these things here, but I'm comfortable with like all these places where I do print. I'm comfortable with somehow writing the code so that it either prints if there isn't curses available, or it does print, or it does use curses if curses is available. And I think when you do the mockup, it does Swift curses term. Let me see what happens if there's an error with that. Yeah, the init. So this thing, use default colors, start color. There's no error messages if it can't do this. So we can kind of induce that. If I open up a new terminal, okay, and there we go. If I open up a new terminal, and right now the terminal type is term 256 color. If I go to projects, Swift CLI, Wordle CLI, and, if I change the terminal to be, I should have mentioned, the terminal is curses. When we use curses, it relies on the functions that the terminal has. Abilities is from the terminfo database. And this whole terminfo business is driven by the terminal environment variable. So if I do man terminfo, there's in this directory user share terminfo are all the variety of terminals that are available, like 1730 LM. If I look at this file, yikes, maybe it's 178. Nope, these are binaries. Okay, let me look at this man page. Hang on. Yeah, entries in the terminfo consist of a sequence of commas, a sequence of comma separated fields. And it's got all this information about what the terminal is capable of. But you can override that by setting your terminal environment variable. So here's a typical term info for an ANSI terminal. So if I do export term equal ANSI, now I won't get any error messages here, but if I were to try to run the mock, Swift curses mock 2, I can see it doing stuff here, but at some point it's going to try to run. Oh boy, but did I leave the bad code in there? Let's see. Okay. Yeah. So right here, oh brother, I did leave the bad. But I already see like colors here, so ANSI is probably a good terminal type. Yeah, so this is totally working, but files containing term descriptions, term user term info. Yeah, okay, so these are hashed. If I set my term to this, popular though rather stupid early terminal, maybe on the Mac it just works because that's how the Mac works. It's probably thinking, it's going to do the right thing. Okay, here, so you can see here it that the terminal, because it has because the terminal type that we set is no good, what should happen is it should say it should basically play the old game. It should basically play the ASCII game, which will work because it's not doing any fancy terminal stuff. It's just gonna print out stuff and do it on the command line. This is what we want to see. Earth. This, and we know this game is actually real, so. Nope. Terra. Man, that's in the dictionary. Okay, what is it? What do you want to? Okay, so what we're going for is we want to combine the code of the mockup with NCURSES and this command line code, and we want it to do the right thing. What I was hoping to see happen when I ran this code is that it would actually give an error of some kind, but instead it just marched along, and surely there should be something in the init when I fire this thing up here at the top. When I do this and I'm in the init, surely there should be something here that I can query. Like maybe in here I can say if term dot, and then there would be, I don't know, I could maybe see if NCURSES got set. But there's no facility, and in the mockup, at least in this mockup, what I do is I calculate the row and the column based on the output of this init screen and passing it into these two functions, and these aren't available in Swift curses term. So, but now let me run this Swift curses mock1. Let's see what it does. This is a terrible terminal. Remember, we forced it to be a bad terminal. If I do Swift run Swift curses mock1, let's see if it errors out. No, it doesn't. But if I just say yeah, see, it row 24 and 80 are returned. It doesn't say anything about the screen state. Like init screen should return something. It says start curses mode, but under extreme cases, this function might fail. But what will it do when it fails? Will it tell me anything? If I jump to its definition, this is the Darwin version. Init screen is going to probably return some, yeah, it returns an opaque pointer. So you know it's allocated some memory, but it really doesn't say anything more than that. And so there's all of this to figure out, and Now I know what I'm thinking of. Let me kill this other terminal here. ADM3A. We'll make a note of that. If I go back to my projects directory with all the NCURSES programs, I think somewhere in basics, it's here. Just look at all of these. One of them says curse is not available. Okay, well, I've sort of just procrastinated in this session. It's already 37 minutes in and we've not made a single commit. Let me go and make that change so that it respects the simple limit. Let me just make sure I can mock that up and repeat in the loop that it's incorrect, just like I do in the original version. And let's see how far I get on that. This is pretty much the only energy I have left, is to do this really small change. The other thing that I was thinking about is these numbers. To me, I know what these numbers are. These are like the row number on the screen where the text should start printing. But it might as well be magic by the time if I look at this, or if you look at this, it's like 3, huh? And column 8, what? So that's another thing that I think would be helped by the Swift curses term library, because they have the idea of a window, and this of course comes from curses, but we can make a separate window for each of the different sections that we have, assign to them a certain dimension and a fixed location, and then when we're inside of that window, we can just be we can just work inside that window in a relative fashion. So line 10 here is line 10 in the context of the window 2, but line 10, here it's line 0, but if up here window 2 was assigned line 10, putting line 10 here should make it go to line 20. It's another change I want to make, but I'm not feeling it today to do anything more complicated than I think what I'm doing now. Yeah, so that works. The other thing is, if I put in a small word like 4, you see how it doesn't wipe out the D here? So, but that'll be taken care of in the prompt. So this change was just a simple refactoring of the guessCounter loop. Let's add this so we could say we did something today. The other thing I'm thinking about is oh boy, what if I do have the a bad terminal? It doesn't seem as if I can detect it. I'd like to offer like a switch of some kind, a command line switch, so you can say something like CLI or GUI, or TUI, and then maybe even GUI when I start doing stuff with Swift UI. That would be cool. But then all 3 capabilities would have to be in one program. And how do you program that? I'm not sure I can get my head around Swift UI being part of the mix, but I think I can get my head around curses versus line mode, let's call it. Simple line mode or command line mode. Right, so this part here is a repeat for goodInput, and this is in here, so I will try to code up the repeat line business. Let's see if I can get this done. Okay, if this works, we'll call it quits for tonight. I don't have the dictionary connected, so that if statement in that repeat loop is going to be very simple compared to the real program. And remember, this is just a mock-up, so we'll fuss with the good stuff when we combine everything. My head is now around the idea of how do I combine these two programs, and let me show you a few things here. Okay, good input's not in scope. Good input's not in scope. Guess string is not in scope. So hopefully this should fix it all. I have to restart my Xcode or something. Why I can't rebuild my program? Yeah, guess string. I have it defined way at the top, probably. Holds the guess when I made it guess. Oh brother. Okay. Yeah, so I don't need this. This has to be way at the top. so down here, I can't get to here. So clearly I need to, but I also need to initialize it. So I'm going to first set the variable up here. I mean, I put it up here in the other program, so var string. And then down here, I'll initialize it from this raw string that I allocate every time I'm in this repeat loop. I mean, this is an allocation that's happening, so I sort of want to, let's see what happens if I do this. Pop this all the way up here, so it's only done once. So the raw string is allocated up there once. I'm always getting its address. Then it gets the string, and then it converts that block of characters into a Swift string, putting it into this variable, which is available inside of this loop, and where it will have to be, into the guess row when it's outside of this loop. Yeah, so I do need it to be up here. Let's see if this fixes it. Let's see how it doesn't overwrite that when I say entered. You need a 5-letter word, and so if I'll show you what I mean. I put in a correct 5-letter word, and it says entered here, but it doesn't put anything at the end. And what I want is to clear this line. And if I remember seeing this on the manual. Negative? Yeah. This function puts at most n characters on a string. Yeah. Another function of this family is addnstr, which takes an integer parameter. But I don't think addnstr is part of the library that we're using. Let's see if I can figure this part out. Yeah, it's not here. But chances are it's going to be in the in here. Yeah, there it is. Move nstr. So clearly that means I can do something. So when I say entered this, goodInput is true. I can clear this row. I think that's what I want to do. I want to do term.get. Oh, it's not here. Yeah, look at that. May not be available in this context. I bet you it'll be available in this context. It takes two arguments, the character, and then some negative, I'm going to say -1. And but I need to move to this location. And what I'm doing is I'm clearing out this error string, 17, column 3. And then we'll go to the end of the line. I don't know. This was your. I'll be happy if end string actually works. Let's see if it does. And what we need to do to induce it is put in a 4-letter word, which will put this message in, and then put in a correct word, court. Yeah, and then see how it says entered court and it didn't overwrite this? But I think what I need to do is term refresh. Because then here it dumps it in. I mean, I can technically move it. No. Like maybe down here, because I know it's 5 characters, I can move to the correct section and just, yeah. I can do it. You can see there's a couple of ways to do this, but the only thing I added here was term refresh. So. Cool if we could work this all out ahead of time, but just programming. Still didn't work. So add string. So I know what, do I understand this right? If it's negative, then the entire string will be added. Well, I will live with it for now. The puzzle is how to clear what I'm going to call the status line. In the command line, we just print, and whatever line it's on is the status line. But with curses, we're going to designate this as the status line. And maybe this we just make a separate window and just clear it manually that way. I know that I can go to here and add string. I could basically do something like this. We could manually clear it. Let's just make an arbitrarily big string here. Technically, we can get the row count or the column count and then subtract from column 3. But let's see if this comes closer to what I was going for. And then we can refine it in the next time we're together. Which, by the way, it'll be tomorrow that I'll stream again. But after that, I won't stream for probably about a week. If I do, it'll be unscheduled. But there's plenty of content to digest on this playlist already. a 5-letter word. 4, yeah, 5-letter word. Now I say core. Yeah. You see how it cleared it out? Oh, but look, I left a exclamation point there. So it's this that we need to generate, and probably a way in we'll go back to this document. We haven't looked at this in a while. Probably some way to tell. There probably is some way to tell Swift, hey, I want to generate a whole bunch of characters. I just want to see if there is. It'd be nice to code that up. Multi-line string. Maybe concatenate a string, but I really wanted this addnstr to work, and this is the part where I could just do a Google and figure it out, see if other people have talked about it. Let me just do this one thing, chase down this one thing. In Python, Python 2.7, not recommended. No, it isn't. Python 3. Computer. My computer, so slow. In other languages, you can say something like, given a character, repeat it 20 times. And that would look like, I think, do something like this. Yeah. And that's pretty much what I'm looking for right now. And that's actually, this is plan B, because I originally wanted addnstr to work. -1 will go print this all the way to the end of the screen, the number of columns of the screen. So let's just do a wide search. Let's see if I put in NCURSES start. Well, that's good. I got some manual pages, but I actually wanted to go to Stack Overflow and find some stuff. Let's do that. Site. Yeah. Whoa. Addnstr looks like it has a lot more than just 2 characters here. 2 arguments, rather. Oh, but this is the Python version. Refresh clear. So I have options. Can never write more characters than fit on a line. So maybe I'm using it wrong. It takes an integer. Then the entire string will be added. Okay. And if I go to it in here, it takes a constant and then a negative. So I'm gonna try one more thing, and then wow, it's over an hour I'm doing this. Okay. We gotta commit this thing. No, didn't work. May have to live with this until I can work out the logic. One last gasp. One last gasp. Let's see if Swift can surprise me if I try that multiplication on a string business. Firing up the REPL. Do str. I did the tab. It feels like every time I do the autocomplete in the Swift REPL on the command line, it seems like I'm doing a different keystroke. But it had been a while since I'd done this. Yeah, nothing here jumps out at me as an option to try. There's one here called what function did I see here? Yeah, shuffled. Or return an array of characters. interesting. I really want to make a string by multiplying. And of course you can do this with a loop. I know I want to do it a quote fancy way, using some syntax in the language. I mean, that could be part of it in here under basics. Yeah, range operators. String in here. Okay. Well, we tried our best, or at least I tried my best the way I normally fuss with the source documentation. I did go into Stack Overflow to find some stuff on addnstr, and I didn't go look at a lot of different pages. There's probably one page that will be helpful, and I would like to see it. I would like to see it work. But we got to something. Let's commit this and call it an evening. Again, we're not going to do the package Swift, but I'm going to just say for this largish commit that I have refactored inner loop to account for bad guess strings. There's a refactors. Oop. Well, catch you guys tomorrow, anybody who's watching, and I'm gonna, I think for tomorrow, work on that funky thing with the keyboard that I wanted to try. Mock that out a bit, because that's something new that's not in the command line version, the one where I do the one where whenever I put in a word, it will dim out the character on the keyboard. And maybe tomorrow I'll spend time separating out different windows of the user interface into different Swift Curses term windows to make it easier for the coding. And so in this case, the C, F, O, and R, U, and T and S would be slightly dimmed, but again, that's to mock up something in the GUI, and so yeah, that's what I think I'll try to do for tomorrow. But I appreciate everybody who's checking this out, and we'll just catch everybody for the next time.